Beefies out there. Welcome back to another... Why are you laughing when I'm doing the intro?
It was just funny because Pippa is already like sniffing outside the door. We're really good pet parents. I was like, hey, we need you to be quiet. So I gave her like a chew stick. And then that was it. And we shut the door. So this is why we have pets.
Yeah. We'll probably open the door eventually, but the washer's going, and we didn't want that sound on the washer.
Multitasking
on the podcast.
At its finest.
Yeah, we're recording today, and let's just get out of the way. I know you want to make fun of me.
I'm so excited.
The video game you saw me beat the ending of.
Yes.
Which I was just last night I was trying to beat it, and the power kept going out, and I had to keep starting over.
Okay, that was really annoying. It flickered like 4 times to the extent that like our neighbor messaged me and said, "Is your power flickering? Like, This is so weird."
Okay, well, I was beating Final Fantasy 16. It's the latest entry in Final
Fantasy.
Oh, your dad will love that joke.
I know.
Because your dad loves to say, "Whoa, the final destination
2.
Come on now.
He did that. He did that to a Hollywood video like attendant, because back in the day when you could rent everything, when you had to go somewhere to rent a video, this poor teenager just had to sit there while my dad thought he was the funniest man in all of history.
So do you feel proud of yourself making the exact same joke?
At least I did it ironically.
So let me have it. You were sitting there with your little holier than thou pose. Oh,
that's just how I sit, Jordan.
And I said I beat it, and you go, "You did."
No, I said,
Okay, well.
Which is somehow more condescending, so I just want credit for it.
Let it out. Let it out how you feel about this video game you were privileged enough to watch the end of.
Yes. Okay, so here's what happened. I walk in to Jordan's office. He has his blackout curtains down. It like everything is dark. He's like super zeroed in on this video game, but also has football playing on a screen next to him because, you got to keep tabs. And I go, "Hey babe, let's talk about, I don't remember, ideas for the podcast or like clips. I don't know."
And let me point out, this is the first time you've ever put any effort into planning the podcast. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Okay, so I sit down, and then you're like, well, you pause the game, you listen, and you nod, and then you're like, actually, I'm at the very end of my game right now, so can I finish this first? And I was like, oh, yeah, of course. He said very end, so I'm thinking like 10 minutes tops. No, my friends. So he presses play, I'm sitting there, and, I will say video games have like pretty cool visuals. So I'm like, okay, I can watch the ending here. Great. He's fighting the final boss, who is called Ultima, which I loved because he gets to the end and I'm like, oh, wow, that really was the very end. Like he gets to the, final lifeline, and then all of a sudden it does like, a cut scene. And those are my favorite parts of the video games because I don't care about the fighting. I just want to know about the plot. And so I'm like, oh, this is the ending. Love this. And then basically it's a lot of like smack talk back and forth. And then all of a sudden the character's name on their little life bar in the upper right is Ultima Revived. And
I don't remember, but sure.
And so I was like, oh, so he's got to beat the Ultima again. Okay, that's fine. So we go through this. Ultima Revived pulls out some stops, and Jordan and his character. I don't remember the name of your character.
Clive.
Some broody dude.
He's been through a lot.
He looks like it, to be honest. And so now it's like that wasn't his name on the life bar because now he's revived too. Started with an I. It doesn't matter.
Oh, well, he has... I don't like describing it to you because it sounds really stupid.
Please do.
He is an icon. He's a dominant, so he can summon the powers of the icon, and his icon's name is Ifrit. Ifrit.
So Ifrit was revived. Great. Okay, so then Ultima Revived gets down, And then it gets to a point where there's like a little yellow line on the life bar. And once you hit that, then they're staggered. And then all of a sudden there are just a million different arbitrary numbers flashing across
Not
the
arbitrary.
screen as you are doing all of this
You were
damage.
impressed when I staggered him. And you saw him.
It looked
his
cool
life
the
bar.
first time. And then we keep going. Okay, so then he gets the staggered part. He gets down to another yellow bar. And then all of a sudden, now the Ultima revived, who is a god, and is fighting his own creation, as gods do. And then all of a sudden he's like, I'm going to unleash Purgatorium. And so now you got to fight him while he's unleashing Purgatorium, but somehow that only gets Purgatory's like countdown, but not actually Ultima Revives countdown.
I
And
love
then,
that you think you have a handle on how video game mechanics should work.
Just saying. So we're like, okay, Ultima revived, and now Purgatory. Great. Purgatory was not unleashed. Sorry, Purgatorium, because we have to add an "ium" at the end of stuff. And then Ultima revived turns into, what was it? Ultium? Because it was an "iam" at the end of that too. Like Ultium, maybe. What was it? Do you remember?
I don't know.
Okay, so now he's this.
I want to tell you that I don't think this is very engaging for the listeners.
I'm just saying. Now he's Ultium. And then it goes to, after that goes down, he then unleashes a whole army. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like 30 minutes later. I'm still staring at this. And the visuals are basically what I imagine an acid trip would look like. It's just things are flying everywhere. It's like the end of a Marvel movie, except on steroids. And finally, I was like, okay, there's a lot of fire meteors and ice being thrown around, and all of this would immediately kill someone. I'm going to go let the dog out. So I go like take care of stuff, clean stuff downstairs. I come back upstairs another 25 minutes later, and then you are almost finished killing this person that you've already killed 18 other times.
It's not a person.
It's a god.
It's a god.
Okay.
So I don't really think it would kill anyone thing works. It's a fantasy game. So let me summarize your critiques.
Yeah.
It was way too long.
You had to kill the same person like a bunch of different
He's the
times.
final boss. So it's going to be a long fight.
I'm just saying that I don't think that these video game programmers understand what a progress bar is.
Oh, do you? I would love for you to go to a video game company and try to describe to them. You guys don't understand what a health bar is. I've watched one video game for 25 minutes and I have some things to tell you. I'm
not hydrated enough for this conversation. I've only got my tea and my Stanley of water, so we need to hunker down and get through this.
And I want to tell you, however long that felt to you, someday I hope you're on the receiving end of one of your own stories, because the amount.
I hate you so much. He's been on my back about the length of my stories and the level of detail. I paint a picture, Jordan.
Even the start of the story, I'm like, this is going to be a long time. I walk into Jordan's room. The shades are drawn. It's dark in there.
Yeah, I've got to set the scene.
Diet Coke cans scatter the room.
Really, though. I hadn't cleared them out in a couple days.
Well, yeah, because we hang out with comedians. So sometimes Adrienne starts telling a story and I'm like, comedians.
And everyone checks out because you got to have a punchline.
No, I think I'm
3 seconds.
probably more sensitive to it because I am funnier than most of them. Just kidding. So yeah. Sorry you had to go through a video game.
I'm just saying, don't tell me you're at the end when, okay, the final boss, that's like me saying I'm at the end of my book and I still have 25%.
Well, do you think
left.
I knew? It's not like I beat it before. I didn't know.
Okay, well, you've played video games before, so you know the final boss is going to be like a quarter of the time. This is Final Fantasy, what, 16?
Yeah, what's your
That
point?
means that if you've played the other ones,
I haven't.
probably... You haven't?
I've played 7.
You just jumped in at 16?
They're each individual stories. I played 7 and 10. Those are the 2 I've played. And now 16. And now the ending was ruined because I had to sit with you looking all condescending and too cool for school.
I left for 25 minutes.
I thought you, so I knew you'd critique the time, but I thought you'd critique the content as well.
Well, yeah. The problem is, I understand that, like, what's a good example? I can't think of one, but like, if you're watching like a movie or like a TV series and it's gone on for, this is your 15th episode or something, like, I understand that the drama and context isn't all there for someone who is just jumping in. So was it cheesy? Yes. Was it a lot of, my people have experienced pain and anguish and you never have, but that's what makes us stronger. We come together. And I'm like, this is weird writing.
I mean, I'm not going to argue that it's made by Japanese people, so it's a little weird.
Hey, that seems like an inappropriate thing to say.
Weird to us culturally. I'm not saying it's weird to them.
Okay.
I am saying our culture is better and not as weird. No. I wanted you to make fun of the nerdiness so I could bring up your nerdy smut books that you read now. Because now I have a trump card anytime.
Did you just, try to trap me into this so that you could just talk about my books?
I was excited because I wanted you to make fun of how nerdy it was so I could bring up your fairy porn that you listen to or whatever.
I don't listen to it. I read that.
Fairies with feathers that arouse them and
they're wings.
What are they?
You can read Akatar and that's fine. They're erogenous zones, okay? They're feathers. Very sensitive.
They're feathers.
The wings.
Of the fairies. Are they fairies? Elves?
They're fae, but yes.
Fae? Like a fairy elf? That's cool. Fairy elf. That's cool.
Don't you dare mock me. I have one nerdy thing, and how many video games have you played where you're trying to explain, oh yeah, it's like an alternate reality, but
don't explain it to you anymore.
That's true. I used to be like, no, tell me the plot line, Jordan. And he would start and get really into it. I'm like, This is fun.
I will say that my stories were more concise.
Leaving out key elements in detail.
Okay. Well, thanks for watching the end. It was a hard boss fight. I will say I'm pretty proud of me beating that boss because it was pretty hard. And it was long.
There was lots of numbers on the screen whenever you were pressing buttons.
That's how much damage I'm doing.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
They're not arbitrary numbers.
Yeah, they are. It's 2,200, 377. Okay.
Pippa. Do I have to let Pippa in here?
No, she's just barking because the neighbors just came home.
Okay. So they aren't arbitrary. Each move has different damage that it does.
Well, what if you do a move but it hits off center?
Then probably does less damage.
Wow, so that's a lot of calibration.
Yeah, these games are high tech.
Arbitrary numbers while you're pressing buttons.
That's not what arbitrary means.
I just mean you don't know what level of damage you're gonna do. The opposite
of definition.
I'm saying you were being such a punk about this. I'm saying when you press buttons, you're not sitting there thinking, "Oh, this is gonna do 1,000 damage." Because you don't know what damage it's going to do.
But I do know this does more damage than this. And if I hit him in the center or in the back, it's going to do more. This is a really fun conversation.
Okay. I understand that video games also have a community about them. So that's great. Are you playing this video game alongside any friends? Or was this for your own journey? Well, I know that I don't know, when the Star Wars game came out or whatever, you and Carter and a bunch of other people were playing it at the same time, not together, but at the same time.
Oh, Nate was playing this one also.
Oh. So no community.
Nate who gave us this live, laugh, love.
I'm just kidding, Nate.
What'd you say about Nate?
I said, so no community. But
Jeez,
I was just
brutal.
kidding. And I bring that up because my smut books also have a community and it's great. So we actually had a smut book club party at our house about a week and a half ago. Our house was filled with strangers. I didn't know most of these women. I just joined this book club and then they were like, let's have the next one at your house because you seem fun. So sure. Anyway, it was wild. It was a little crazy. was
Did
fun.
you just want to flex that you have a smutty book club?
Yeah, kind of.
Yep, it was really fun for me to go over to Carter's house while our wives were at my house with a bunch of random women.
Seriously, I was like, okay, you're taking the dogs. You guys are going to stay over there, and then we're going to have fun and talk about smutty books for several hours. Thank you, bye.
I will say, if that hadn't have happened, I probably would have beaten that game earlier. Then you wouldn't have had to watch it.
And then we wouldn't have this amazing, riveting conversation about it.
It's probably funny.
We would have missed out on all of this, Jordan.
Yeah.
If I didn't have my smutty book club, you're welcome.
That's true. That's true. We had a couple things to talk about.
Oh, let's talk about this morning as well, because you've had a little bit of a rough morning. One,
Well, you saved me.
I sat and watched this video game and ridiculed you. And now we're reliving it right now. But in addition,
I would have rather you ridiculed me than just seeing you watch it with this devious look in your eye and
just like
smug. Oh, Ultima again?
ultimatum, ultimate final.
Okay, tell the story.
It's funny.
4 a.m.
this morning, yeah, 4 a.m. I have really good sleep reflexes. I am kind of a light sleeper. And I start hearing a cat retching. I am not fully conscious yet, and I have already sat up and physically shoved Minnie, who was about to throw up, all over Jordan. She was on top of his sleeping body. So I shove her off of him just in time to have saved him from being covered in cat vomit.
I remember having that noise in my dream, like the weird cat.
I hate that sound so
My friend
much.
Rich did a joke about how it sounds like a cat's beatboxing when they're throwing up.
That just made me hiccup while I laughed. It's so funny.
So
It's very true.
yeah, Adrienne wakes me up. She shoves the cat off, and I'm kind of half asleep, and I hear the cat continuing to throw up, but the cat's not on me anymore.
So now we're just trying to go back to sleep to that beatboxing sound. And then Jordan is like, oh, I guess I'm going to go get up and go to the bathroom. And that's when he realizes that she had.
Well, yeah, I put my hand to get up, and I put my hand right in the vomit.
So I had literally saved him by mere inches from having it land all over him. This is super riveting. I hope none of you guys are listening, are eating while listening.
I hope none of you guys are listening.
I hope none of you are paying attention to this thing that we're making Jordan produce. Yeah, so we had to get up and switch sheets, and then we just keep hearing Minnie go through the house retching continuously. So then,
Well, I got up and got some water, and I walk into the hallway, and she's vomiting in the hallway.
we tried to check on her, and she just ran away. And okay, that's fine. You're gonna do what you need to do. She's an indoor cat. It's not like we can throw her outside or anything to do this. So I will say that this is the one instance where having animals is probably harder than having a child in that situation, because I don't know of many children that are sleeping on top of their parent at night. Minnie just turned 6. So any 6-year-olds that are sleeping on top of their parent and then just projectile vomiting all over them. But I also don't know of any parent that would just physically shove their child off of the bed if they were vomiting and then be like, go do that somewhere else.
Do in the hallway, please.
So then Jordan woke up.
I will say you're more nice when cats are vomiting. You feel bad for them, and I'm like, stop doing it. Don't stop. I'm yelling at them.
I need that to
And then you go, are you okay? I'm like, oh, I should be nicer about.
Well, she had a hairball, poor thing. Yeah, so then this morning, it's around 9 or 10, I don't know. And I'm still in bed, still trying to stay asleep. Jordan gets up, and then he comes to the door holding a spray bottle and a giant brand new roll of paper towels. And he was like, oh, you're still asleep? I've just been cleaning up 5 pools of vomit. So I was like,
no, it's more
happy Saturday.
I wanted to clean up the vomit in the bedroom, so I was seeing if you were still trying to sleep.
Yeah.
I cleaned up 3 spots, but there's 2 more spots in the bedroom.
Yeah, I noticed those.
So yeah, that was a wild way to be woken up.
Yeah, it was. But also I felt pretty superhuman that like I was not fully awake when I was already like
Shoving
making Minnie fly through the air.
How hard did you shove her?
I mean, I wasn't fully conscious, so I don't know that I'm liable for this, but she did like soar through the air.
Vomit coming out of her mouth as she's soaring.
I felt so bad for it. Like I tried to track her down when we like took the sheets off and stuff. Once again, this is now like 4:30 in the morning. This is not a fun time for us, but I was like, sorry, Minnie. And she already hates me half the time anyway. So I was just trying to repair this damaged relationship. Anyway, she won't look at me today.
That's fine. I touched her vomit in the middle of the night with my bare hands. So.
Please stop. I can't. You're a sympathy puker. Like if you hear it or you see it or anything,
I have a hard time cleaning it up sometimes. I don't know. I try to like in my brain go, it's just food. It's just their stupid food they eat with some gut juice.
Well, when you say gut juice, that makes it worse for everyone.
But mushed up food at all in people's mouths being spit out. Even if it's not throw up, just mushed up food being spit out. Like, I don't know what it is. It makes me gag.
It's tough for him. So there I am. It's 4:30 in the morning and I'm like trying to clean all of this stuff up because he's going to step in it on his way to get back into bed if I don't clean it up right then and there. Anyway, it was a really gross morning.
Was there mush on you cleaned up mush on the ground?
Yeah, I don't like that verbiage. Can we just call it vomit? Mush makes it like mush gives a visual. Vomit's just like, yeah, someone upchucked. It's fine.
But maybe they think it's not as mushy as it was.
Why are you doing this to me?
Well, thanks for saving me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It was weird.
That was weird.
And then I don't even remember very well. We got the sheet off the bed. Mm-hmm. I was not wearing any clothes at all. I don't usually sleep like that, but last night I was. And so
why?
We had activities.
What?
We
Twister?
Do you play Twister New?
I don't know. I don't know what the kids are doing these days.
But so that made it. I remember vaguely checking like, do I have vomit on my thigh? But it was
just extra. It was just extra great for me because I had just shoved Minnie. Jordan decides he's going to get up and go to the bathroom. We like kind of checked like on top, like making sure that there wasn't any vomit. And then that's when he puts his hand down and is like, oh, she got the very edge of the bed. And then I just see a very naked husband doing this, like holding up his hand in front of him. Like, this is disgusting as he's walking.
I didn't look at it. I maybe held it up and I was closing my eyes. I knew if I looked at it.
I thought you were looking at it, but it was the most funny. I don't know that I've ever had to.
Was it like that naked pondering man statue?
Oh, the thinker?
But he's looking at vomit on his hand. Was he like this with his hand on his?
Yeah, he was, but you were not, thankfully. Anyway, I've never had to stifle laughter before at 4:30 in the morning.
I remember when I first felt it, I said, there's still some on the bed. And you go, there's vomit on the bed? And I said, yeah, there's vomit on the bed. And you go, on the bed still? We were both like rocking. We couldn't understand what we were saying.
I was asking like, wait, on the bed? Like, and I meant like the comforter, like the blankets that you're in, because gross, we're going to get those off immediately.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, on the bed. But you meant like the side. Anyway, yes. We weren't great communicators at 4 a.m., but I did have quite the visual spectacle. It was really funny. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you said I was very naked. What's the difference between naked and very naked?
I think it's just very naked means there's a sense of vulnerability with it as well, because someone can be naked and you're like, cool. But then it was just 4 a.m. and you look so uncomfortable and it just made it vulnerable on top of nude.
Yeah, that's a one time. Everyone needs to wake up nude in the middle of the night with cat vomit on them at some point. It's a My Wife Thinks recommendation.
That's disgusting. I do not think that. I do not think that.
Well, you sure enjoyed watching it.
Yes, that was
you
true.
Pervert.
Oh my gosh, and remember how one of our kittens, baby boy, Salem, he was asleep on the bed, and like Jordan had like went washed his hands and then came back and was like, hey, we need to switch the sheets. So he like scoops up baby boy off of the bed, and he does the most forlorn yowl, like it was this sad bleeding cry of like, this, what are you doing? I'm asleep.
Also, being nude carrying a cat is quite vulnerable. Also, they're very sharp and there's no protection.
I think this is my favorite episode we've ever recorded.
Do we have any more to talk about the cat vomit? Did we cover it?
I think Minnie covered it, and then we covered Minnie covering it. Yeah.
Well, I think for the last part of this episode, we need to discuss the children that stole all of our Halloween candy, and the response to it, because I think it's an interesting conversation.
It is so good.
And some of my beloved fellow comedians were even saying,
but can we talk? Okay, we were super tired this year. We've both been so busy, and I was like, we're not dressing up. That's fine. But then the day of Halloween, I was like, shoot, we gotta dress up. So I got out our costumes from last year that I had purchased that you did not participate in last year.
We wore different stuff last year. You bought them, but then we ended up doing something else.
Oh, yeah.
We did the tooth guy.
The tooth guy?
Weren't you the Yeti last Christmas?
No, last Christmas.
I don't know. It's been
Okay?
It's been a long year. A lot of cat vomit.
No, that was 2 years ago.
Oh, what was last year? Oh, no, last year was the Yo Quiero Taco Bell.
Ah, yes. Taco Bell.
I was Yo Quiero.
I was Belle. Pippa was in a taco costume. It was Taco Bell. It was so cute.
It is so
and
cute.
then Jordan had a shirt that said Yo Quiero. Anyway, but last year we had just gotten back from Hawaii, so tropical stuff was on the mind. So I got a flamingo costume for me and then a pineapple onesie for Jordan. And so I was like, oh, we still have those, and we didn't wear them last year for Halloween. I'll get them out. Like, super easy to get into. And Jordan should even be relatively cozy, so he'll be fine. So Jordan gets home from a very long day at work. There are already children trick-or-treating at our house. So I was like, quick, put this on. And he was like, can I have like a minute? Like, I'll get in it, but can I have a minute? I'm like, do it now. So he changes into his costume. I'm already in my flamingo. And then he's taking a while to come outside. So I go in to check on him. And there's Jordan on the couch. And he looks so unhappy. But he is in this bright yellow onesie.
I don't mind wearing a costume. It just wasn't very comfortable. It bunched up in the crotchal region.
And it had like an extra zipper there, and then also up on the chest. It was very funny. And then the hood had, like, when he put the hood up, it had like a full-on pineapple top situation. It was incredible. So I walk in. He doesn't have the hood on, but he's just sitting watching TV, like glowering. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, come on, we're gonna take a picture."
You were all sitting on the porch, and there wasn't really a spot for me.
Oh, is that why you didn't come outside?
I mean, it was a good excuse.
So I make him come out. I'm like, come on, we have to at least get some pictures, and then you can take it off. So we have some incredible pictures of Jordan, like, wincing through a smile. I think you had the costume on for like 4.5 minutes.
It was very uncomfortable in a sensitive area. The crotchal region.
Okay, so... but here's the thing. Our friends who live just across the street, they were over and passing out their candy on our doorstep because we just wanted to hang out, and then we watched a scary movie afterward together. And so we have us two, me and Jordan, and then Carter and Jess next to us as well. And then Jess turns to me and goes, you know, everyone's going to think that you're swingers now, right? Like, you even have a spare couple on the doorstep right now. The only thing we need Jordan to do is a handstand so the pineapple's upside down. And
so on this podcast, we do want to take time.
It was so funny.
Can we make the announcement?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
We wanted to tell everybody that we're swingers now. Sorry, I messed up the end of your story. But yes, I was wearing a pineapple. I was getting lots of weird offers.
Yeah.
And
like, we were trying to give out candy.
And I was handing out candy. I'd say
like,
trick or treat and wink. And really emphasize treat.
The parents were ushering their children away. It was very fun.
So then we watched. Did anything else say about the pineapple outfit?
No,
It's been a really good podcast about seeing Jordan very naked, covered in cat vomit, very angry in a pineapple costume. People thinking he's a swinger.
Very ridiculed while I'm making fun of you over your... This is the best episode yet.
Maybe for you. Yeah. Well, the listeners decide.
Okay, but then the night progresses, right? That is maybe a bad way to phrase it after we talked about the pineapple costume.
What a great transition.
Okay, but we were out there. It was cold. We gave away candy for a long time. And then we decided to do what most people do and just leave the rest of the basket of candy out there. And
we were watching many kids on our phone be like really cute, like grab a handful and then like find one they really wanted. And
yeah.
We were like, they could probably take more. Like we were even saying that as we're watching Saw 10.
Well, while we were out there, I was outright telling people, take a handful. Like we have we have 2 huge tubs of candy. Like go for it. So I didn't really care how much candy people were taking, but it was cute, especially like the kids who were maybe like 9 or 10 who would go up and be like, I think I'm only supposed to take one. And then they would like go through and choose. It was really cute.
So finally we weren't very late watching the movie. It was only like 9:30 or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you go outside and all the candy is gone. Like they were pretty full buckets, and we were watching kids and it wasn't like a ton.
I mean, like I had maybe 8 bags of candy that had been dumped into these buckets throughout the night. Like this was a huge amount of candy.
And so we watched the doorbell cam footage and there is 7 kids.
There's a horde of children.
Kids. They are kind of dressed like gangsters. I don't know if that's their costume or if that's just how they are. Their actions.
They had flannel and a hat on.
I know. So I think it was just who they are.
So maybe like a train conductor or something, but...
And it honestly looks like in The Walking Dead, like when zombies like hoard a body and like ripping all the guts out. Like that's really what... It's on my TikTok. Maybe if I'm feeling real motivated, I'll splice it in the video right here. But they're ripping it. They're taking all the candy. And it's crazy. And then another kid comes in and he even checks the doorbell cam. He kind of looks at it.
He like looks behind a couple of times.
And he sees a little green dot. He knows that it's recording. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't care. Mm-hmm. And he has a giant pillow bag. Like pillow bags can fill so much candy because they stretch.
Pillowcase?
What did I say?
Pillow bag?
Yeah, pillow bag.
It was like a king size.
Not a pillowcase. A suitcase for pillows?
It was a king size pillowcase that he's hauling over his shoulder.
And he can barely lift the bucket. He like flips it on its side, puts his bag around it.
Yeah, no, seriously. He flips it on his side so that the ground is supporting it so that he can like put the pillowcase around it and then dumps everything in.
He empties it all into his bag and he puts it around his shoulder. He almost like falls over.
Yeah.
And he runs off into the distance. And it's not like we really needed the candy. I wasn't like actually super upset. It was astonishing to me.
And it happened at like what, 9 p.m. or something. Most of the trick-or-treaters are done. Like
still pretty early though. I would say if I was going to do that, I would wait till like for sure done, like 10:30.
Yeah, if you were going to go be a candy stowaway, candy thief.
I will have my vengeance and I will find these children next year and I will steal their candy from them.
I love it. Okay, so yes, I would say that's most of the trick-or-treaters are done. It's not like the really little kids are out anymore. And those are the kids who I'm really hoping Halloween is magical for.
So I post this. I download the video of our Google Cam, post it on Instagram and TikTok and to say like, do I report this like as a joke? And some people very earnestly respond like, well, I don't know who you would report it to, but like
maybe their parents.
You could reach out to the parents and ask them if like this is behavior they condone. Which is fine. I'm like, I wasn't actually.
And then there were some comments where it was like, terrible parents. I'm like, the parents are down the street just watching their children run for their lives.
I doubt I don't think these kids were with their parents. These seemed old enough. They probably got there on their own.
He was like 10 years old. I'm probably lived in the neighborhood and just said, I'm going to go door to door.
Yeah.
And
they didn't seem like they were sprinting. I don't think they had chaperones. Like even you watch the video, they sprint to our doorstep like zombies, and like the fast zombies, not old timey zombies. Just to be clear.
Thank you.
But if you look at the TikTok, there's lots of competing comments, and a lot of people that their take is, and even My friend and comedian I respect, Andrew Slater. Do you remember Andrew?
Yeah.
He's from Seattle, or he lives up there. He said this, getting mad at kids. This wasn't on my thing, but I'd like to think that I inspired his post. He said, getting mad at kids for stealing all the candy out of your bowl you've left out unguarded on your front porch when you're really just mad at yourself for being lazy.
Shots fired.
Is there truth? Were we being lazy? Yeah, we weren't going to stay out there all night and answer every doorbell. But it doesn't mean it's okay for kids to do this, but also doesn't mean I'm that mad about it. But I do, there's a little bit of truth to it that we were too lazy to do.
That is funny. And I was like, it's cold. We're done. We want to go watch a scary movie now. So that hurts a little bit. But
I don't know if he's referring to me, it's funny enough that I don't care. But I will get you back, Andrew Slater.
Okay, but the fact that we posted that video, it was just because it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really care about the candy.
But this sparked a real divide in our country. People who think it's okay to do this.
Yeah.
And people who think that the kids should be beaten for it. That's like the two sides of this. And I saw a video, I shouldn't send this to you, of like a mom with like kind of older kids and younger kids, and they go to a bowl and the mom is like grabbing every single one and putting it in the kid's bag and dumping it. And she's so proud.
That's because that mom is like, okay, we are going to go trick-or-treating to one house, and then we are coming home.
Done. We're going to go to a rich neighborhood.
Yeah, she's thrilled.
Where they're too lazy.
Yeah, she's thrilled. She got out of it pretty easy. I loved that. Who was it? Someone commented about like, well, like that's what you get basically if you leave candy out there, because you don't want to answer the door. And then you responded and you were like, but I actually hate talking to kids.
Oh, yeah. I had some fun
I don't know.
comments.
Your responses were so funny.
This got the most comments of anything I've ever posted on TikTok. Let's see. One person said naughty. One person said jail, period, which that's funny. Let's see.
Can you imagine a police officer coming to your door to be like, I need to talk to your child? There was a crime reported, and they go to juvie for
just chocolate all over his face and cuffs being walked out the door. Oh, this is the one. This person said, if you don't want your candy stolen, then answer the door instead of leaving it outside. SMH. Palm face, laughy face. And I said, but the thing is, I hate talking to kids. And she said, sad. Kids are hilarious. Not from this video. Not what I see there.
Yeah. And
then other people are arguing with her. Just because something is left out doesn't mean it's up for grabs to take it all. Kids make mistakes, but this, they know better. Let's see. One person said, what are they doing with it all? And I said, I'd like to hope they are giving it to a homeless center, but I have my doubts. Let's see. This one is a weird one. Like, I can't tell if this person is respecting them or like dissing them. He says, you can tell by their bags they are doing it all over. Freaking badass kids, so annoying.
Yeah, that's very confusing. There's some mixed messaging there.
Terrible parents, one person says.
Yeah, I will say that like that pillowcase had so much candy in it.
It's insane.
He definitely was doing it at other places too, but also maybe he'll get a stomachache.
Hopefully.
Karma.
Hope he dies.
Oh.
Like after living a fulfilling life, as we all will die.
Okay, maybe
someday.
lead with that part.
I would not want him to have the curse of eternal life and have to watch all his friends and family die. I hope he dies, as I hope all of us die someday. But I hope this is sooner. Just kidding. This person said, as much as it sucks, you can't trust people to leave the basket out. It happens every year, so I don't know why people keep trying. Humanity is so not above this. And I said, I'm getting the FBI involved. So that was a big controversial thing this Halloween. We just know we were just kind of blown away at how audacious it was.
Yeah, like how does a young child get the audacity? That is, I don't think I would have even thought of doing that as a kid. Just because I was such a rule follower.
I might grab like an extra big handful and be like,
oh, yeah.
But not flip it over, dump it out, almost fall over as you're hauling it away. So that was our Halloween.
Yeah, we really found the divide in this nation.
I was kind of surprised. And many arguments like this were taking place all over Twitter. Not of our video. There are a bunch of videos of kids doing it. I just don't. I mean, am I that mad? No.
No,
it was
we just wanted
surprising.
to publicly shame this child
Yeah.
because that's the age that they're growing up in. So they need to be acquainted with the world early, you know?
Precisely. Well, I think we need to wrap this thing up. It's a long episode.
Yeah, but it was a really fun one for me.
Yeah, I know it was fun for you, but
What would you rate this?
it was one of my least favorite.
That makes it even better.
Because I don't like talking about being very naked with cat vomit on me
Very vulnerably naked.
and in a skin-tight pineapple costume that's bunched up
Can we
around my
please
crotch.
also include a picture of that?
That's on Twitter.
The pineapple costume.
I tweeted that I'm getting a lot of interesting offers wearing my pineapple costume.
But it's weird because he didn't wear it for very long on Halloween, but now he just like walks around in it all the time. So
It's either very naked or very pineapple now. It's sometimes both.
apparently a pineapple is an aphrodisiac, so who knows?
Well, don't look that up. That's not true.
Is it not?
I don't know.
I've never.
Okay, I need you to wrap this podcast up.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Classic sign-offs.
Thanks for listening about how my husband was very naked, vulnerable, and ridiculed. That's what my wife thinks.